Welcome to the Broken Port Podcast, everybody. Another week, we're back at you with some tech news, some little textual factuals, and a whole bunch of other stuff that we're going to get into today. We've got Google splitting up. You know what, Josh? I tried.
People need their intro. Keep going.
Well, anyways, we got Google splitting up. We've got Mac M4s coming out. We've got Nvidia with kind of some more rumors about the 5080 and the 5090. We'll get into that. And then Intel finally fixed their chips. Maybe.
Yay!
Yeah. So a lot of fun with that. We'll talk a little bit about overclocking and some nostalgia too, but let's get into it.
Yeah. Hey, Mitchell.
What's going on?
Mitchell Burrito. No,
that's
not
probably worse
a
than
thing.
textual factuals. So
it's close.
we'll see.
How
We'll put up a poll.
How have you been?
Yeah, pretty good. Getting through this week. Prime Day was on, so I was trying to find deals. I almost bought my CPU today. I might still get it later. We'll see.
So did you get anything?
Yeah, so I had to pick up a new laptop for a
Nice.
family member. Anytime that anybody in the family needs something tech related, I'm usually tasked with
Mitchell,
finding
the
what they
secret
need.
shopper.
So, yeah. So I got a pretty sweet laptop. It is Lenovo Legion
Nice.
7. Yeah. It is Ryzen 9 processor and has a 4080 in it.
So they're set.
So that's pretty
is
solid.
what you're trying to say. Nice.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I would like to have this laptop. I don't need it, but you know, I mean, I could give them mine. Mine's
Would
like
they notice if you did a switcheroo? Yeah.
probably. Mine's got some wear and tear on it by now. Be able to tell that it's not brand new. Be
Too
like,
many
what is
Blippi
this? Get another one.
episodes.
Yeah, too many Blippi episodes.
Well,
oh yeah, but
go ahead.
I'm hoping to get my CPU maybe today, but we'll see. I'll let you know later. But yeah, what do you got going on?
I just bought some lights. As you can see, I'm illuminated for me. This is what I got. This was my. You know what? It's cheap. It's a bit cheaper now. So, yes, internet. I will have one of those. But my wife got some. She loved her Bose Quiet Comfort 35, something they're called. But her sister was in town, and she gifted them to her, and she upgraded her headphones, and she loved them. She wore them at work today, and they were great. So now I need to save money for all the purchases that I have made.
So did she get
the
new Bose
because
headphones, or she got
old
some else?
ones had the micro B port thing, and there was some like she
Yeah.
got new head cuffs, earmuffs, whatever you call them, cushions for them because they were starting to like get that leathery kind of like flaky look. And she was excited about them. She installed them, and then the rest happened, and she was like, "Well, these are good and new now. You can have them, and I'll go pick up these." So she got like a sand color, and I begged her to just get black because oils aren't going to do anything to black leather. White leather, it's gonna get dirty. But so I might look into some leather cleaner. But what happened this week in tech, Mitchell?
All right, so apparently they're coming after Google.
Who is they?
Again.
People.
The government. No. Is it the government? Or who is it? Where did it go? Josh has... I was going to say John,
That's
but...
not my name.
No.
I do know several Johns.
Well, there you go. Get him over here. Anyways, Josh has entitled this Time to Break Up the Band. So, yeah, it is the government. U.S. Department of Justice has proposed remedies to break up Google's search.
Remedies. That means do this or else.
Yeah, it means take your company apart. Apparently, this is from Reuters.com, article by Zahir Kachwala and Akash
Perfect.
Suram. And so in this article, they mentioned that one of the options would be to divest parts of their business. So like sell them off, create separate companies and so on. And they've suggested that they do this with the Chrome browser and with the Android operating system.
Making them separate things.
Yeah. I think the Android operating system is one of Google's best things that they have going for them right now.
That's tough.
So getting rid of that
that's convoluted.
I don't know. That's a tough one because that's the main thing that I think would keep them going. I could see the search engine getting like kind of overtaken eventually if they keep getting attacked like this. People could use Bing or other things or whatever. DuckDuckGo, probably not, but but yeah, the Android operating system is probably Google's most solid thing. Like their phones, they're okay, but the OS, the operating system for Android, is so widely used. That would be like Apple getting rid of theirs because that's one of their main things, right? I know that Apple doesn't have a search engine or whatever, but I don't know.
Yeah, this all goes down to the monopolies thing that we covered in episode, I'm gonna guess 12. I don't know. But anyway, like we talked about this before.
12 sounds like a good number.
They were in trouble from the SEC and they were branded a monopoly. And you have to not be anti-competitive, and that's what it all comes down to, right?
Yeah, and see, a weird thing with something like the phone space, right? The Android operating system. See, any of these other companies could just make their own. Because Android is built on Linux. Samsung could make their own operating system, but they don't want to. Because they can use Android, and it works well, and then they integrate with it.
Years of Samsung phones, I think the first one was the Instinct or something, and it had this like Samsung apps, and like nobody used them. They weren't good.
They still have the Samsung apps.
But Apple. What do you want?
I don't think they're much better. Because I originally had the Galaxy S. I had the first Galaxy came out.
Go back.
And that was Android, and it had the Samsung apps, which were not good. They just kind of got in the way. Messed up my phone. And then
he deletes his Instagram. How
that's
am I supposed to get a hold of you?
I was off the grid for a while.
Log cabin and
but
all.
then you have I had the Note 9, so that was like 5 years ago or something like that.
Exploding on airplanes?
No, that was the 7. I think it was the Note 7. So I had the 9, and that was a really great phone, by the way. And it had the Samsung apps. It had some that were actually useful now, but I think Samsung still has their own apps.
Still have that sub
bloatware or whatever you want to call it.
Anyway.
Yeah, and I think a couple things on there are actually useful now, but still, there's a lot of stuff that's just kind of like, no.
I'll just get my weather from the weather people.
Yeah. But right? They're all wrong anyway. But Android operating system, that would be a tough sell to get rid of. I don't know. The Chrome browser, I guess,
is it just
but
me, or is like the Android? Sorry for my pit stains. Is the Android like platform just like a catch-all for all these companies that hope to one day be a thing, or all these companies that are just too lazy to do their own work, so they just copy over the smart kid to their left?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can look at the PC market. You have Windows on all kinds of stuff, right? There's Windows, there's Linux,
there's Windows on
Mac
via parallel.
Yeah. So I guess Windows is similar to Android in the wide adoption, but at the same time, then there's also Linux, and then people build their own operating systems on Linux. So there's a lot more available on PC, but just not widely used. So in both markets, there's two main operating systems. Yeah, Linux is the third, but Linux is on phones, Linux is on PC, so it has a similar space on both, even though it's probably more widely used on PCs, but it's a small market share. So yeah, that would be like asking Microsoft to get rid of Windows. Like,
yeah, it's kind of what we do here.
it's not gonna happen.
What would you say you do here?
You can have a search engine, but no browser and no operating system. I don't know, but this is one of the many potential fixes that prosecutors are considering. So yeah, that's gonna be met with a big force from Google to be like, no.
Is this
not gonna happen.
the story just before the government's huge cash infusion, where Google's like, just chill. Here's 15% of our company.
Yeah, we'll see.
I stopped counting at 16 trillion. So, all right.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Do you think that Google will get broken up? Do you think this is just something that's never going to happen? Do you like Android?
Or
do you like iPhone?
do you even
what
care?
do you like?
I don't.
Yeah. Do you just open your
Pretty
computer
much.
and use what's there?
I'm prime for phishing scams.
I mean, if
like target me, I'm your clientele. 84 different passwords. There's like 3, and they're all the same.
I've got a great opportunity for you. I'll tell you later. I'll send you a link.
Is someone in trouble?
Just put in your banking information and it'll be okay. Anyway, check us out. Like and subscribe down below. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about Google and what they're up to, and if you think anything's going to come from this. And we are going to move from Google on to
Mac attack.
one of their competitors, I suppose.
So what I thought was so interesting is that the Apple MacBook Pro 14, I guess, M4, the new M4 chipset on a MacBook, hasn't even been announced. Apple has not even talked about this. You'd think they'd be psyched. I would be. Hey, this is somewhat a little better from last year, as they always do. Anyway, so some Russian YouTuber got a hold of one out in the wild. And then literally today, another Russian YouTuber got one. What is going on with the Russian YouTubers? They're all over this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because it's like, yeah, it's the box, right? Is this picture of the picture of the box?
That's a screenshot.
It's out in the.
Well, that picture is, yeah, but no, he did like whole benchmarks and everything. I saw it on a couple tech shows this week, and I thought that was insane. I don't speak Russian, so I didn't.
That's
watch
crazy.
It.
It's weird that this came about. I mean, not that it's a surprise, because they released the M4 for the iPads, which is also weird that they released it for the iPad before the MacBook. But we knew that the M4 was coming, but yeah, Apple usually has to do their big event and reveal, and this is the best Mac ever, obviously.
So I was actually looking at a MacBook and trying to come up with ways of talking my wife into letting me buy one. That didn't happen. Anyway, but like all the M1, M2s,
maybe one day,
they're all 8 gigs of RAM, and that this was like 2022. Like people were still rocking like 32 gigs of RAM, maybe even 64. Like they were behind on the RAM, and now this one has got 16 gigs of RAM. Welcome to the future, Apple.
I wonder though. This is the Pro. I wouldn't put it past them to still have 8 gigs on the regular one.
Like,
on the
another
Air.
$500 and you can have something slightly better.
And they had an article or an interview or something in the last time they released MacBooks, and he said, oh yeah, 8 gigs with us is the equivalent or better than 16 gigs on like a PC.
Sure.
Okay. If that's what you want to say.
Everybody like lies.
It's a basic truth of the human condition that everybody lies.
Like, it might be better than the 8 gigs on a PC, the way that it's integrated. But no, that's
Is it
not
the
how
reason
RAM
I
works.
wanted one was for editing, and I've heard that they're pretty well configured for editing. But also, this thing's portable. I can't take my tower to work with me on my break and do 30 minutes of edit. I can with a Mac.
Yeah.
So this isn't me adding content. This is me trying to talk my wife into it later. So I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, keep me
Or I'll
posted
just steal
on that.
Mitch's.
There you go, portable video
What's he
editing.
need it for? You don't need it for. You need it for now.
Actually, I don't
I'll
have.
steal Mitch's
My
wife's.
wife has one. There you go.
All right, and now we move on to Nvidia and Jensen's leather jackets and his stocks. Mitchell, what's your top 3 favorite things about Jensen and his stocks?
I like his leather jackets and his other leather jackets and his other
Yes,
leather
the
jackets.
man has a lot of leather jackets. But actually, we are talking about the 50 series, more specifically, the 80 series of that. The 5080 is a sweet consolation prize. This is by digitaltrends.com, and this is by Monica J. White. It's hot off the presses. Mitchell, what did you think of the newest news on the 16 gig VRAM 256-bit memory bus 5080?
So again, these are still rumored specs, right? We always start seeing this
They're
before
usually
stuff
right,
comes
though.
out, and they're usually pretty close, pretty bang on. So I mean, it's good to kind of see, so you can plan, even for someone like me, right, who's building something now, if you should wait or what the deal is. So it's good to see this. I mean, at the end of the day, there's not going to come out until, what is it, January? Once they're
4 months
planned
away.
to be announced or released or whatever at CES in January. So unless I don't buy something before then, okay, I'll wait. But it seems like it might not be worth the wait. Of course, they always say that now, right?
We got 40s
Because
available. You need one of these.
who knows it? Yeah, right? It's like, hey, you got to buy what it is now because it's not going to be that much of an upgrade. And then they come out and it's like, oh, it actually is a good upgrade, even though it's not. And it's always like this with all these things, just like when they released the new 9000 series Ryzen. But they're talking here in this article about how there was a really big gap this time with the 4080 and the 4090, and it's gonna be kind of similar here, right? There's gonna be a big gap between them, but if they're saying that it's not gonna be that much of an upgrade from this generation, I don't know. Again, it's a lot of speculation here with some of these little details.
Well, the 5090, like if it's a huge gap, it's also a huge gap on power because the 5090 will do 600 watts and the 5080 will do 400 watts. So like, think about your electric bill.
Yeah, it's funny because like you think PCs back a few generations ago running like a 1080 only needed a 500 watt power supply to run the whole computer.
Wow.
And now, like, okay, we've gone up. Average PC with like a fair graphics card, you run maybe like an 850 watt or 1000 watt if you want to be safe. If you've got extra stuff going on. But to have 600 watts just for the GPU, that's pretty heavy. That's pretty crazy to think about. So I'm curious to see how good it is, if it's that much of a jump up, and what it can actually do. Because in a lot of ways, I don't know, we seem to be kind of at this plateau with like graphics and performance and stuff, and there's not like big leaps.
Whoa.
Whoa. I don't know.
The 5090, sorry, I was just reading this and it's kind of got my attention. We'll have 32 gigs. of GDDR7 memory. Wow, 30. I got 8 in my system, and it's kind of good.
Yeah.
Runs out kind of quick though if you push everything. But holy moly, what are we trying to like run holograms?
What does the 4090 have now?
I think 24.
4090
No?
specs. I think it's 24. Let me see.
Okay.
Yeah, 24.
Right. So still,
Yeah. So 4090s have 24.
8 more.
So yeah,
or
you're
so?
adding
Yeah.
another 8. So yeah, that's pretty solid. That's like adding a 4070 to the 4090.
You just broke my brain, dude. All right, well, that concludes the leather jacket portion. And if you like leather jackets,
All right, leather jackets off.
let us know in the comment section because we like comments and we like the fact that the comments are in the comment section. That's our favorite part.
Yeah, we also like to comment in the comment section according
Yeah,
to
it's
comments
like
that we comment on.
Inception comments.
So let us know.
Comment section.
Non-stop.
All right.
Non-stop with the ball drop because
Bah, bah, bah,
Intel
bah. Yeah, they
dropped
did.
the ball.
You know, and
Intel dropped
everybody
the ball.
was like freaking out over this, and systems were crashing, and even YouTubers were like, "That's it. I'm not trusting these guys ever again." They crapped the bed. There's no nice way else to say it. This was a blunder.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Yeah, it's so this article we're referring to on techradar.com is by Darren Allen. Came out a couple days ago, but basically Intel is saying that they finally fixed the issues with their 13th and 14th
Did
gen
they though? Really?
CPUs.
Yes, they did.
I think this is the third time that
Because they
we've
had like
seen
a
this,
code
they've said it.
or whatever, eh?
There's microcode issues, there was degradation issues, there's all kinds of issues, all different kinds. Initially, I think they just tried to
It's
avoid
such a
it,
shame
but
because
wasn't
the
gonna happen.
phrase Raptor Lake is so good. Like, I like that.
It's a great name. Yeah, great name. And I would have, I was really
Oh, yeah.
considering getting one of these Intel chips.
Right
I
before
was,
this happened.
Like, we talked about it in previous episodes. Yeah, I was fully on the fence. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should try the i7. I've had AMD for a while now. Maybe I should go over, check it out, and it'll be good because I wanted that versatility, because it seemed to be a little bit on the better side for both video editing and for gaming. And then it all went downhill. It's all gone. So they said it's fixed. You gotta update the BIOS.
If you
gotta
point a
do
gun
these
to my head and
things.
say, Josh, update your BIOS. I'm like, can I load that bullet for you? Because I can't help you. Do I need a USB? Is this like a CD thing?
Yeah, I mean, updating the BIOS, you could do it, but the average person is not gonna do it. And some enthusiasts that built their PC, yeah, they're gonna have that. But these chips were not just in enthusiast-built PCs. These chips were in ones that you buy at the store, whether that's pre-built by the store or you buy from Best Buy or Staples or whatever. Because you just, hey, this is good. Here you go. Here's my money. I'll take my PC and I'll take it home, and it's gonna work. No. Very complicated for most people because
And especially the higher
most people are not gonna.
Sorry to interrupt you, but like this affected the higher end stuff even more, right?
Yeah, so most of the issues we're seeing in the 7s and the
Costs a lot of
i7s and the i9s. Yeah, so not cheap, and again, people that are spending the money to get the high end chips. Again, especially people that are not fully tech savvy, that are just like, hey, I just want to buy the best one. Here you go.
What brings to mind is like these game
Trash.
streamers. And they just want to play the game at the max capacity. They don't care how it happens. If you need it back in a truck and I plug my monitor into that and there's like a supercomputer, neat, just make it happen kind of thing, because I have 84 million friggin' subscribers and I just need it to work. That is what.
Yeah.
If they're running Intel, they were done.
Yeah. Yeah. So tough times for that. It's almost like, you know, if you're gonna buy a nice car, you shouldn't have to be a mechanic to buy it, right? You're buying it because it's good, because it's top quality, and worst case, if there is an issue, okay, it's warranted, fix it. I spent this money, fix it. But it's been a pretty rocky situation back and forth.
Multiple levels of fix, though. Okay, there's this BIOS. Okay, you gotta flash that. Okay, well, there's a microcode. Like, it's too janky. It's way too janky. It's like when somebody gets like called their new vehicle back to the dealership, and there's a bunch of like recalls, and they only fix 2 out of 5 of them, and they're like, "Oh, you have to come back next week. Don't return the car if the job ain't done." So like, it could be frustrating. So I feel for all those people that have been like, I don't know, maybe they've just been sitting on their Intels and then like on a Steam Deck be like, I hope one day this thing gets fixed.
Yeah, so it's been quite the rocky road. So we'll see. I'll give it another week or so, and let's see where it's at. If it's actually fixed, I feel like Gamers Nexus will have some info on this shortly, and we'll see what Steve has to say, along with maybe Wendell at Level 1 Techs, and we'll see who else talks about it, because these are going to be investigated, especially by all the big guys.
Actually fixed, sure.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see if it's actually fixed. So we'll keep an eye out for the results on that, and then we'll let you know.
It'll be interesting to see what like the pricing of the next chipsets are going to be, because they screwed up. They produced a product that wasn't finished. Do they cut the consumer a little break to kind of be like, it's okay, you can come back to Team Blue, we're good now, and we're consumer friendly, this is all good now, yay, until we rip you off to the next set.
I doubt it. I'd be very surprised to see them having low prices.
Price is so low, Mitch. That is actually true.
That's true, and I saw a lot of articles about Qualcomm possibly buying Intel.
I did too.
That could be something. Sure. So that's not a specific article we pulled for today, but I saw some talk about Qualcomm buying Intel because their stock went way down, like
what also
way
was
down.
We'll wrap it up really quick, guys. But what was also interesting today is like some of the benchmarks that Intel for their next set released. It was less frames than the previous generation, but it was like 20% less power. So it's like, it's better in a different way, in a way you didn't necessarily care about.
Which is like similar to what AMD did with this release as well. They made it more efficient. It didn't go, I don't think it went down in performance though. I think AMD was just marginally better, but the efficiency was way better, right? The performance was up a bit with better efficiency, which I have no problem with, honestly.
And for Intel, they were only down 3 frames, and like, what do you want? Go outside.
Yeah. But we'll see, because I mean, Intel hasn't innovated really in a long time, so they have to innovate. AMD keeps innovating. That's why they're getting ahead. That's why the 7800 X3D is the best gaming chip in the world right now. Intel's just trying to do what they did, and if you just always try to do the same thing with your business and your product and never change it, especially in tech,
you're not seeing growth.
Not going to last.
Well, what growth we are seeing is subs. We're seeing subscription growth. We thank you. Welcome on board. Let us know how you like it dished up. We'll dish it that way. Like, stay in that comment section, stay active, and we'll do whatever you want. We're simps that way.
Yeah.
But as long as you're there, like and subscribe, and throw a few shares. You know your nerdy friends. Send them a video or 2.
Oh yeah, and ring that
Ding
bell.
dong.
Everybody likes to ring the bell. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So now, Josh found a little bit of nostalgia
I wanted to
today.
go down memory lane, and so
what did you find?
I'm not even gonna bring up because this is just a discussion thing. I used this article on The Verge, and was talking about transparent tech. And I guess somebody found an iPhone 16 that they paid for, because no one's finding iPhone 16s. But they got an iPhone 16 and they reproduced it to be transparent backing and stuff. Neat, really neat. But that got me thinking, Mitchell, what is your favorite use of transparent tech in like the tech world?
I don't know.
Or most
I mean,
nostalgic?
it was everywhere. I think the first thing I usually think of is that purple Game Boy Color, the see-through Game Boy Color.
I have one somewhere
casing.
in this house. Yeah, it was great, eh? Atomic Purple, I think they called it. Yeah.
Something like that. And yeah, it was, that was the look of the time, right? They had Nintendo had the 64s and 64s like that.
You mean like this? Yeah,
That's
man.
the one.
Yo, cram a 5080 in there.
Classic.
Yeah, man.
Start sparking it up in your hands.
It wasn't the most ergonomic controller, but man, did it look good when it was transparent.
Oh yeah, classic stuff. And they even did some of the
Yes,
Xboxes.
That's right.
Had the
And they
transparent
had
look for a
one.
while
I
too.
almost bought an Xbox controller that was the blue transparent. It was on for like 57 or something.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, Josh, just buy it. Just buy it. But I went with the lights instead.
Yeah. You need more controllers. I almost got the 20th anniversary Xbox controller that they did, which was like a transparent black.
Yeah,
which
it was
pretty
like
cool.
smoky, eh?
I should have got it.
Nice.
Yeah, that was cool. The Forza Horizon controller was also like a transparent color. Both ones that I like had in my cart and that I didn't get. I was like, no, maybe I don't need any more controllers, but I definitely do.
I swear, man, you gotta get like a 6 foot by 6 foot pegboard and like put all 250 controllers that you have on there. Solid idea. What I like is the idea when you put that retro looking see-through plastic into modern tech. Now they do it with a couple like mouses, they do it with Bluetooth headphones and whatnot, which is really cool. But I think when they put in high-end custom keyboards with like the LEDs flashing, it just, I don't know, man, gets me too excited, man.
Yeah, some cool stuff for sure. There's this here. There's the Meta Ray-Bans,
Yes,
and they
that was
have
also
some
part
that
of the
are
article,
like
yeah.
a translucent color.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool. Yeah, the transparent stuff. I mean, sometimes, look, honestly, sometimes it can look cheap, but there's a nostalgia to it, and when it's done right, then it's really cool.
I almost got I think it was iFixit. They did a Steam Deck kit of Atomic Purple for your Steam Deck like chassis. I
remember seeing
this
that.
close, and then the cheap person I am, I was like, it's all good.
Well, it's really only the back, right? Like to do the front, you gotta really like disassemble the whole thing.
They have a whole guide and stuff.
No, you can do it, but I think it's a real process and a risk of breaking
That's like
many essential
Linus or a higher
parts.
level.
Yeah. I would just like put a skin on the front.
D-Brand. Speaking of D-Brand, we're taking sponsorships, so
yeah.
Screw Linus.
So today, not brought to you by D-Brand or anybody other than Broken Port Media, but also brought to you by you and your reviews, your likes, your subscribing.
We see you.
So hit us up. We appreciate it. We're over 650 now. What are we at? Let me see. The live 660.
Oh, we went up like 20 since the last time I checked. Nice.
660 right now as of recording. So hopefully once this is posted, we're even higher. Let's try to overtake 700 next week.
I'm aiming higher.
Help us get there.
I'm going with
and if you if you're looking for something specific, you want us to change up some things or other things you want to see discussed, let us know. Let's keep her growing on the road to 1,000. Oh yeah.
I was gonna make a joke, but then you went with that, so I just let you cook because I'm trying not to interrupt you. But I was gonna make a joke. Visit notmyshortboss.com. Mitchell, there's so much content on the internet about overclocking, but I have yet to find a purpose for it other than a big number on a spreadsheet. Mitchell, what is all this overclocking talk?
So when you look at your watch and you're really late, you're overclocked.
Oh, nice, thanks. All right, create a corner.
Yeah.
What's overclocking, Mitch?
So overclocking, in the simplest way of describing it, you're gonna turn up first the speed of usually your CPU. Let's use your CPU because you can overclock many components. But let's just use your CPU for the easiest one. So say like an Intel CPU, it says it runs at let's say it just runs at 5 gigahertz. Okay, that's the clock speed. Clock is in hertz, and that's going to be like the speed, the transfers, and each clock cycle is basically just on off. That's how computers communicate.
Yeah, binary.
I think we talked about it in the past,
but about on off. Yeah.
Binary. Yeah. So on off is ones and zeros, how computers communicate and talk. So you're turning up the speed that happens, right? Which makes your computer run faster. That lets you process more. That lets you get better gaming performance because everything's running faster, right? Any electronics. If you were to overclock anything, it doesn't have to be a computer. You turn up the speed of something, you're overclocking it. So a lot of if you have the right CPU, you can turn up the clock speed in the BIOS of your PC. I'm not going to get into how to do that because
no, I just wanted a blanket. Yeah,
that's a whole thing. But yeah, so you can turn up the speed. For example, you can turn up the speed of your individual cores of your CPU, and then along with that, usually you need to adjust other things.
So like, there's a certain aspect of like it being stable. Like there's like a balancing kind of like thing happening here.
Yeah, it's a balancing act. So let's say you turn up the speed of one of your cores, or let's say you turn up the speed of all the cores, then you'll run a test. So you can use a program like Cinebench, which is something you use to test your computer, to test the performance and what it can handle and all those kinds of things, and it'll give you a score. So if you turn up your clock speed in your BIOS, then you go into your computer, run Cinebench, it'll either give you a score. Make sure you do it before you overclock so that you can compare,
You need to know
right,
what the
to see the
standard
difference.
is.
That's right. So it'll either give you a different score after it's overclocked, or it might crash. You might blue screen. So if that happens, that means it's too unstable. You're going to go back in. You're probably going to turn up the voltage so that it balances. Go back, run Cinebench again. So it's a lot of tweaking. And it's also a lot of risk, especially if you have a lot of people do this with the high-end CPUs, right? Because they want to buy, say, if they actually worked, want to buy an i9 4090 and then crank it even more because you want the absolute best. You can do that, but with any of these overclockings, you run the risk because you're turning up the speed, you're turning up the performance, which is going to create more heat and more voltage. Both of those, heat is the enemy of electronics. Heat makes them degrade, it makes them fail.
Cooling is a big factor. I remember seeing Linus have this big overclocker guy, and he actually used liquid nitrogen, which I thought was like, whoa.
Yeah.
You need it that cool?
Yeah. So it's it can be pretty cool, but it can also be disastrous because you could wreck like a $5,000 PC and like
when I always see those like i9 whatever Ks in the our favorite electronic store is Canada Computers. When I see an open box of those and there's like 3 or 4 of them, I was like, there's an overclocker in there somewhere. He's like trying to like get the best silicon he can muster, and he's failed 4 times, and you're buying it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's true. So yeah, overclocking.
Good enough.
You're turning up the speed, the performance, the voltage, but you take a risk. You know, you're gonna avoid your warranty, and you might just wreck your CPU or
And
more.
you might just get wrecked if you don't like and subscribe.
That's right. And ring that little bell. Why not? Everybody likes the little bell.
I was waiting for it. Oh, so Mitchell, we're down to one last corner, and that corner is Creator Corner. So I'm gonna let you go first. Who do you got?
So this week, I'd like to shout out JD Coffee. This is Julian Melnick's channel, described as a dad gamer, which is just like us. You know, right on point. Another great thing about Julian is it's all about that coffee. And the channel itself is actually JDX Coffee, but the name of it is JD Coffee, and his name is Julian. So there's a lot of names, but we'll put that in the description down below for you to take a look at. But yeah, I always enjoy Julian's videos. He most of the time to start the video off as he's talking or whatever, he's making coffee.
He's big into the coffee. Okay.
He has like these nice little setups for like the pour over or whatever, like grind the beans, do the little like aeration, pour it into this, do that. He has like little teapot or whatever that'll pour the hot water on. Very like relaxing and just like, man, I want that coffee. So really, really good. If you like coffee, you'll like this channel. But if you don't like coffee, you'll still like this channel because it gets into a lot of video games. Been pretty heavy on like the Steam Deck and different handhelds and stuff. Yeah, I think he started off doing streaming for like the Switch. And then just kind of grew, and yeah, good guy. He's a dad. Just really nice vibe. I don't know what else to say about him, but check him out.
Awesome. I will check him out. And please, everybody at home, go check him out and let him know why you're checking him out, because you heard it here. All right. So for me, I have this guy that everybody knows, but I'd be remiss if we didn't mention him at least once on this show. That's Random Frank P. Now, this guy is really good at the whole, like, best Amazon gifts you can get this season, or hey, it's April, what are the best gifts under $75? And I really find his content entertaining. He had this one video with this watch, CFC watch. CFC is a company by the Nothing Company, you know, the Nothing phone. Anyway, this thing's like a legit smartwatch for $130 Canadian or something like that. And like, I might pick one up just because, like, I don't know, I can mess around. Like, I'm not sure I'm gonna use an Apple Watch, so I don't want to like just buy one and then have it in my couch cushions. But like, I don't know. Yeah, I've spent $130 worse. He's big into keyboards as well. He's got some crazy gaming setups as well. If you like the tech space, and if you've been living under a rock and you don't know who he is, you'll like him. Mitchell, did you know who he was?
No, because I actually live under a nice rock.
What that cost?
But nice rock. It's been smoothed out by the sea, but it's very salty. Yeah.
Subscribe for dad jokes. All right, Mitchell, that has been another episode. Can you believe this is, I think, our 16th? Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Something like 16 episodes. I think this is the 18th or so video we're going to be posting on the channel. So, yeah, thanks for everybody's support so far. And if it's your first time, thanks for watching all the way to the end. It's been great having you, and we look forward to
Yeah, and
talking to
as
you some more soon.
always, from Broken Port, Mitchell, do the pleasures.
Go break some.